All right, we are back with another solo legend Lost Sector guide. We're starting off with Titan. Thankfully, I was able to get into the game and actually play for a few hours, which is great. So I did get the footage today, obviously, and we are going with the Molten Colossus build that we have been using for like the past 5 days. I will include a link to it right here, so you can go ahead and click that. We've got Barrier and Overload this time. Conditional Finality is obviously a very rare weapon. You do not need it at all. I was just having a little bit of fun with it. It's not contributing to this build and helping any champions or anything like that. Any auto rifle and machine gun will work as long as that covers Barrier and Overload for you, which it should for this season. But we're starting off, we got to clear out every enemy in that first area. Then this second area opens up. We clear out these enemies, and then we have one Barrier Servitor that spawns in. And with Molten Colossus, with this Titan build, we can just easily work through everything. This is, if you're wondering, just an S tier farm for exotics. This is probably the fastest farm that you can get in the game. So this is as good as it gets. I could have gotten faster times here. Yeah, even here, you can get this under 2 minutes. You can get it to 1.5 minutes if you're really good. But we are just showing how to do this. This is, you can improve off of what I'm doing here. So just get used to it and get it done. This is super easy. So we have that one Overload captain back there. Super easy to take out. And then we have a bunch of regular dregs with these couple exploder shanks that pop out right here. And then another Overload. And if we don't take care of this Overload, he's going to back up and go right next to a Barrier Servitor. So it's not the worst thing in the world if this Overload goes back there, but it's always nice to take it out if we can. That way that Barrier Servitor is not like protecting that Overload captain, because that can make it a little bit annoying. But we are going Conditional Finality here. These barriers are very easy to take out. I didn't even kill it. I was like, what happened right here? Kind of confusing, but we had to restun it again. So I wasted probably a good 20 seconds right here. Taking out some of these enemies. And I think I'm going to go in for the kill right here. We're just going to bonk this guy down very easily, and then we're going to have another wave of enemies come in. That was the last champion that we have to deal with. We'll just have a few other dregs. Watch out for the, to my left on that tower there, or that building on the second story. Sometimes a sniper will be trying to kill you, which can be kind of annoying. But we've just got this regular servitor here, along with a few more, like 4 or 5 more exploder shanks that pop out. But nothing that we can't handle. Hang back as far as you need to. This lost sector is very safe. So once we take out this second servitor, that is when we can move on to the next room. That's going to clear that void wall. I'm just looking for anything behind me, just in case. But here you can just pop your hammers, and you can nuke that boss as long as you've got Roaring Flames ×3 up, which you should, because you should just be hammering everything here. And this chest is right here. So that was extremely easy. That is Titan done. Let's move on to Hunter. So we're going with the exact same strand build that we've used quite a bit here. Nothing has changed. I've run a couple Lost Sectors with a Void build using Gerfalcons or Omni Oculus. It doesn't matter. So if that's more your playstyle, you can use that exact same build here as well if you don't have strand. But it is not the biggest deal if you don't have strand. If you want to go solar, if you got a good solar build, that's fine. This is just legend, so it's not extremely difficult to get these done. But I just really like this build, so I'm having fun with it. We're going to start with throwing a dart to get some tangles going for our whirling maelstroms, so they can just destroy everything, go around. But we're going to clear out this first area and then open up this second zone once we kill that servitor. Just got a few enemies to clear out here. And while we're doing that, I should mention that this is an S tier Lost Sector to farm. If you've been waiting for a good one, this is it. So hopefully that armor piece that's dropping today works in the rotation for what you actually need. But you can get this one down to 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes. This was a slow clear on Hunter. I just took it safe. Wasn't playing too risky. And it's very easy. There's not very many champions. All the enemies just kind of cluster up so we can build up our builds, I guess you would say. To where, see, I've just got a Whirling Maelstrom ready to go. That Overload is just taken care of very quickly. The only guy that can kind of annoy you here is that sniper that you saw on the second story. Sometimes he'll pop out, sometimes he'll jump down. But you should always keep an eye at least be mindful of where he's at. There he is. So I'm going to take him out, or at least try to there. And then once we clear out these enemies, so you can see it's arc burn, so that sniper does quite a bit of damage. We've got 2 exploder shanks, I guess 3 this time. It's kind of random, I guess. They'll pop out of that room, and then we've got 1 overload champion here that we want to take out quickly, if possible, because a barrier servitor is going to spawn right after, and it can shield this overload, which can, you know, anytime you fight 2 champions at the same time, it can be annoying, especially when one is immune. So we don't want that to happen, but we've got this barrier servitor just chilling back there. You can hang back as far as you want. You don't have to play this aggressive. That's what I've said on all of my guides so far. But you should try and work on your game. You know, you want to put yourself out of your comfort zone as much as possible. These lost sectors are a great way to do that because you can practice high-end content on your own, which is great because you're not going to let down anybody on your team or anything like that. You can just work on these, and I promise you anybody can do these, especially the legend ones, even the masters. Masters are definitely harder. You've got more champions. Enemies are more dangerous, but you can definitely get these done. And obviously, it's a great way to farm exotics, which is probably why you're here. But we're just going to take out these enemies here and get that barrier champion. I don't know really what I'm doing here. I'm just playing it really safe. And things, yeah, they got a little bit heated. The arc burn can do quite a bit of damage. You see I'm kind of looking for more snipers because they do kind of spawn in here and there when you're not expecting them, but we've finally got an open opportunity to kill this barrier servitor, so we'll take it out really quick, and then we only have a few more enemies to deal with. I'll let my Whirling Maelstrom Tangle do all the work for me here, but on the opposite side of the room we're gonna have another servitor spawn in right now. Thankfully not a barrier servitor, but there's my spectral dude that can spawn in some threadlings when it gets killed, so that's a little bit more damage. And once we kill that second servitor there, we are good. And unfortunately, the Silk Strike Super for Hunter is probably not the best to use here. It doesn't have a lot of verticality, so I'm like barely swiping him here. But get safe. You can pop your grapple on this build to get you some woven mail when you're outside of Super. But if you want to hang back the whole time and just shoot it with a machine gun, you can do that too, as long as it doesn't hide behind that middle section, which you'll see it did, but then it popped back out again for me, thankfully. But that is it for Hunter. Very easy lost sector. This could have been done in probably half the time for me. But let's move on to Warlock to finish this up. So for Warlock, we're going again with the Sunbracers build, just making it as easy as possible for ourselves. Nothing has changed, just the champion types. We have Barrier and Overload for this one today. And if you're wondering, today is a very good day to farm. You definitely want to farm this Lost Sector. It is probably the easiest one of the easiest ones, I should say, in the whole game. So I'm using Sunshot here because it's fun. If you don't have Sunshot, that's completely fine. You can use any hand cannon you want, preferably a solar hand cannon, but the main thing we want is just another thing to handle Overload champions in case you're out of machine gun ammo or something like that. But I tried to get my Sunbracers going here. Unfortunately, the Void Wall just took way too long, so I couldn't get those grenades in this room. But all we have to do here is clear out whatever enemies, little dregs are out here, and then I'm going to kind of prepare my grenades for the other side for that barrier servitor. And then get ready to stun right here. Sunbracers is just a lot of fun to use in Lost Sectors. Especially Lost Sectors that have a lot of enemies, like this one. So there we go, we got another Sunbracers, and we can just throw so many grenades. On the top left, you'll see I had that sniper looking at me, and that sniper with the arc burn can do quite a bit of damage, but you want to take out that Overload champion quickly, just get it out of the way, and then we're going to have a few Exploder Shanks pop out of the right side of the room here, and there's that sniper. Trying to find a better place to hide. Didn't really work there. But that sniper can be very annoying, so we're going to throw a fireball at it. And when we move up here, there is another Overload champion here that we want to take out as quickly as possible. And you'll see here it got really close to retreating to where that barrier servitor is, and we don't want that to happen. If it does happen, it's just going to add another minute or so, because the barrier servitor is going to shield the Overload captain, which can be incredibly annoying to deal with 2 champions at once. But I got really lucky here. It didn't try and shield it. If it does happen, like I said, it's fine. But we're going to pop a well here, because on this build with the Solar Warlock, you can get your well back very quickly. So it just makes it very easy. We can stand in the middle of all of these enemies here, take out this barrier servitor, get more sun bracers, and then where I'm looking now, we're going to have one more servitor spawn in. Just a normal one, thankfully. And once we take out that servitor, that is going to lower that void wall for us. Also watch out for those exploder shanks. So if you need to back up, retreat a little bit, you can definitely do that. And I believe that's what I do here, just in case. But I always like to remind everyone, you don't need to go for the flawless to increase your drop chances in these legend lost sectors or even the master ones. It doesn't matter. Obviously, going flawless, if you die less, it's probably going to take a little bit quicker of a time. But I have 7 revives left, so plenty of opportunity to mess up. And I'm right at about 3 minutes right now. You can definitely get this done in under 2 minutes, a minute and a half if you're really fast. I was not trying to go too crazy here, but if you really get this optimized, it is pretty cool. So I already have another well up with Sunbracers. Just getting it back so quickly, I'm going to try and throw some fire grenades to kill this boss. Did a little bit of work. Wasn't horrible. And then once we're done there, we can run to the chest. That's it. If you want to, you can take out every enemy you want before you go run to this chest. Completely fine. But there you go. That is the Lost Sector done. This is Exodus Garden 2A. So I will see you all in the Discord or in the next video.